was there a war with a prettier name than the Wars of the Roses? The White Rose, the House of York, versus the Red Rose, the House of Lancaster. And this was basically the royal family of the day ripping the guts out of itself to win the crown. And after every battle, heads would roll. This was the ruling elite wiping itself out, making room for the middle classes. One of the most decisive battles in the Wars of the Roses was fought here in Barnet, now a North London suburb, but in those days an important market town on the Great North Road. And basically the battle was between Edward of York and Warwick, the Kingmaker. Basically because Warwick had ratted and then re-ratted on Edward, and so this time it's very personal. Okay, the battlefield's very near here, let's go and find it. In Cockney rhyming slang, your hair is your Barnet, and that's because in the past, Barnet used to have a fair every weekend. So Barnet Fair equals hair. Everybody in there is having their Barnets done. This is Hadley Green, just north of Barnet. Easter Saturday, 1471, Warwick arrives here mid-afternoon. Coming up from London, up the Great North Road, is Edward. And he arrives early evening and a fog is coming down. Edward tells his men to keep quiet. He's terrified of an ambush. Meanwhile, Warwick knows he's out there. So he tells his cannon to keep firing all night in that direction, or that direction. They're firing stone cannonballs. It's dawn. Edward orders the charge. His younger brother Richard charges. Ah! There's nobody here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battle line, the same thing is happening. The dashing Earl of Oxford charges into the mist on Warwick's right wing into nothing. Only a few stragglers who he chases down the road to Barnet, and they keep running all the way to the city of London to say the day is lost. Oxford stays in Barnet having a good old loot and pillage and starts to think, just a minute, that was a bit easy, maybe I'm missing the point here. And sure enough, down the road comes the sound of battle. So Oxford races back up the Great North Road, but things have changed in his absence. The battle has moved round. So instead of crashing into the back of Edward of York's army, he crashes into the back of his own side, the Kingmaker's army. And because it's foggy, the Earl of Oxford's shining star looks a little bit like Edward's sun and splendour. And so Warwick's army starts shouting, "Treason! Traitor!" And basically, the Kingmaker's army just evaporates. Warwick is racing for his horse. These guys are clad head to toe in tailored steel armour. Basically, the only way to finish one of them off is not so fast, my lord. Get them on the ground, get the visor open, and stab them through the eye. Warwick's body was taken to St Paul's Cathedral, so all could see the Kingmaker was finished. And after that, Edward ruled England peacefully for another 20 years until stricken by a heart attack. And after that, his younger brother Richard took over until he too was killed at the Battle of Bosworth by Henry Tudor. So hello the Tudors, nice middle-class Welsh folk who give us Henry VIII, Bloody Mary, and this sort of thing. The old grammar school donated by Elizabeth the Great, an early attempt at mass education. But you know, none of this might have happened if the dashing Earl of Oxford hadn't got lost in the fog of Barnet.